Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Stylish Hidden Treasures. My name is Mary. I'm a full-time reseller on both eBay and Poshmark. So today is a what sold video from October 13th through October 20th. Sales are still kind of down, and it is for most of us, but hopefully it's going to pick up here pretty soon. I kind of felt like we were kind of out of the slumps for sales. I thought I kind of saw an uptick on sales, and now it's kind of right back to normal again. So it's constant roller coaster right now, it seems like. So let's go ahead and hop in and see what's sold. The first thing that sold was this Elisabetta cardigan sweater. It's a wool blend made in Italy. Didn't sell for much. It sold for $19.17. This is not an item that I would pick up again. I picked it up mainly because it was made in Italy and it was wool blend, but I've had this forever and finally it sold. So that's definitely not something I will try to pick up again. The comps were non-existent, so I definitely am not going to pick that up. Another thing that sold was this diesel military kind of a distressed black laptop bag. This sold in the same day. It did not sell for $39.59. It actually sold for $25. But anytime I can have a quick flip and I don't have to take it and put it into inventory, that's a great thing for me. So it sold within one day for $25. The next thing that sold was this Free People Aran mini dress. This was a pretty good flip. It didn't sell for $40, but it sold for $32, which was still pretty good. This is definitely a style that I would pick up of Free People. Seems like these mini dresses do pretty well, especially the darker colors, it seems. So that too was a good flip from the bins. The next thing that sold was this Ralph Lauren, kind of like a silk blend cardigan, really lightweight, didn't cost much at all at the bins. This sold for $19.59, and these basic classic pieces that can be worn for work and home seem to always do really good for me. The next thing that sold was this Ann Taylor Loft, kind of a boho top. This was brand new with tags, and this sold for $24.29. And most of us know Ann Taylor and Loft is very saturated. However, I still pick up these items. And this seemed to be a week where I sold quite a bit of Ann Taylor, which was kind of funny. So this was a pretty good flip as well. The next thing is this limited, kind of like a mohair blend top. You see it sold for literally not much of anything, but I've had this forever. It was brand new with tags. The picture was bad, and I kept trying to get back to taking another picture. I never got around to it, so this was one of those items I was just glad to see it go. So this sold for $11.09. Next was this little mini Coach bag. I thought it was going to go for a little bit more, but this again was one of those items that I listed the same day and it sold the same day. So this sold for $22. And like I said, I didn't have to take it to my storage and inventory it. This sold through the global shipping program. These Converse All-Star high top shoes. These were really cool, funky print. They actually had quite a bit of wear, but I cleaned them up really good, and the buyer insisted, she was pretty excited on getting them. So these sold for $30 with, like I said, quite a bit of wear. So that was a decent flip. Next was these Ann Taylor Loft, kind of a silk blend pair of pants. Another example of an old picture that definitely needed to be redone. But hey, they still sold for $18. So yes, Ann Taylor is a bit saturated, but some of these items will still sell. And I think if you have a pretty good material like this one that had the wool and silk blend, that'll definitely help with flipping. Next was another Ann Taylor. This was a cashmere button sweater, This too sold within 2 days of listing for a pretty good price at $24.02. Again, this is a very lightweight item, probably costs less than $1 at the bins, so therefore the return on investment was pretty high. So I will still pick up Ann Taylor. The next thing that sold is this blue paisley scarf. It didn't even really have a name, but yet I got it for the style and the beautiful colors that it had. This picture doesn't even really give it justice, but I sell quite a bit of scarves, and I would highly suggest to pick up scarves because the return on investment is usually pretty high. This sold for $14.40. Next was this beautiful Windsor, kind of like a burgundy gown dress. I thought this was perfect for the upcoming holidays. This sold pretty quick for $39.68. I mean, it was one of those things where thank goodness I had a mannequin because it really made the dress really stand out well. So this was another Goodwill bins flip as well. This was from a liquidation, which actually was Amazon returns. And some of the returns that I'm getting in these big boxes are actually all brand new. And I guess these sellers just had an overstock of these items. They are literally brand new in boxes and gift boxes. So this was a really good flip bracelet for $17.79. Next, this was kind of like a vintage cotton maxi dress. It had like snowman, like embroidered designs on it. It didn't sell for much, but it did sell. And this sold actually for $14.70. Next was Minnetonka, which is a really good brand to pick up of suede. Their shoes and boots seem to do really well for me, as well as these vests. They're very lightweight, and they usually sell pretty quick. So this sold for $23.48. I would highly suggest picking up any suede and leather vests like this that are lightweight because they always seem to do pretty well as far as flipping. Next was this Anthropologie, I don't even know how to say this, Aurea or something like that. But it was this beautiful print. It was very like geometric, and it was like a flare dress. And this sold for $21.67. So a lot of Anthro brands do still sell. Just usually depends on the style. You probably saw this sweater. It was LL Bean, a lamb's wool. It was brand new. With some tags in one of the haul videos I just recently have. So I'm pretty glad that this sold pretty quick for $38.06. LL Bean, even vintage LL Bean, still seems to do pretty well. Next is this Brandy Melville John Galt, kind of like a crop top. I kind of had a little washed out lighting on this picture. It wasn't the greatest. However, it sold, and I was just glad to get rid of it. There was a time where the Brandy Melville thing sold really good. Not so much anymore. So it sold for $13.54. This was a Bailey of Hollywood, kind of like a wool fedora hat. I've already got excellent feedback on this. I do pick up a lot of hats, especially if they're wool or beaver or some of the nicer materials. So this was a really good sale at $24.91. I would highly suggest do not pass up on hats. There are a lot of decent hats that do have a really good return. Next was a vintage, kind of a horizontal striped sheer dress. This was unusual, and that was one of the reasons why I picked it up at the bins. It was extremely lightweight. I did have to hand wash it. It was a little faded, but it was worth it. I mean, it didn't sell for much, but it did sell. So this sold for $20. And then the next thing that sold, which I've mentioned before, is any kind of Victoria's Secret gold label items do very well. This one sold for $47.78. It was a 100% silk floral belted robe. It was beautiful colors. Anything like this usually does extremely well. I mean, this literally weighed like, I think, 7 or 8 ounces. So it was a really good flip from the bins. Next is, I'm not going to say what it says on here, but as you can see it, these inspirational bracelets, I even thought about pitching some of them, the ones that had the cuss words on it, but honestly, they're selling. I mean, there are people that want to have certain wordage, I guess, on their bracelets. So I had 2 of these sell for $11.90. So times 2 is what I made on that one. This was brand new with tags. It's a Ralph Lauren, kind of like a polo toiletry bag, shaving bag. It was brand new, found it at the bins. Another lightweight item that had a really good return on investment. This sold for $30.14. Next, you see a Victoria Royal designer gown. I just showed this in one of my my haul videos, and this did not sell for $126. It actually sold for $95. But however, how awesome of a flip was this, right? It had like these beautiful layered feathers all the way down. So do not pass up on vintage formal wear and gowns like that. Next, I should have probably raised the price on this because I kind of got a little beat on this one, but it sold for $16.19. They were brand new rolls of like wool yarn for crafting. So do not pass up on craft items. People do buy these items, especially in lots. Next was another scarf. This was a Banana Republic silk blend, kind of like a velvet scarf. Real lightweight from the bins. This sold for $15.75. As stated before, do not pass up on scarves and things like this that are lightweight, and bras and things like that, because there are pretty good return on investment on some of these items. Here was another scarf. This was a cashmere scarf, sold for $19.68. Anytime you can get a color that's a little out of the norm, you like not just the browns and tans, but maybe a red or a purple or a green, some of the brighter colors, and have a really good material like cashmere or wool or alpaca, these items sell really good on eBay. Next was just a simple 2-pack underwear set. It didn't sell for much, as you can see, $11.77, but I had got a lot of Target liquidation underwear a while back where some pieces may actually have like a piece missing and people will still buy those items. So most of those items are gone now. Another thing that sold pretty quickly was this Vince Camuto, kind of like a sweater tunic type of top. This sold for $20.39. You know, it didn't sell for much, but it was a quick flip from the bins. Next, you see a just a Bob Mackie art to wear type of top for $31. A Talbot skirt that sold for $20.24. I do okay on skirts, and especially the ones that are stretchy or have a kind of a cool print usually do pretty well for me. I would suggest picking up a lot of skirts that have the classic and plaids right now, because those items are doing very well as well. The next thing that sold was this morph suit, which this also was just shown in a haul video. It sold for $22.49. I thought it would go for a little bit more. However, this was another item that sold literally the same day that I had it listed. So that's always a good flip, to be able to get something that you don't have to store and wait for it to sell, even if it sells for a little bit less. Next was this Anthropologie, kind of a swing coat. Anything that I get that's mustard yellow seems to sell pretty quick. I don't know what it is. It's just a hot color, I suppose. But this was a wool blend, really stylish on the mannequin, and this sold for $41.57. So once again, some anthro pieces do sell pretty quickly or for a decent amount of money. Next was this brand new with tags. Ralph Lauren, kind of like a tie maxi formal dress, sold for $62.60. This came from a liquidation from Macy's that I got a while back from bulk.com. However, I don't purchase from bulk.com anymore because they are outrageous on prices. Hopefully they will come down at some point. So this was another example of a vintage earring type of style that I bought. It's $20.70. I actually bought this from an eBay seller. They were selling vintage lots, and this sold. However, unfortunately, these earrings are on their way back to me. I guess the person just simply did not end up wanting these. Next is kind of a bohemian beige beaded, like a cape poncho scarf type thing. This did not even have a brand. However, I picked it up for style. Anything that's crochet or hippie or lacy like this seems to do well. This sold for $20.24. Next thing you see is this August Silk, which is kind of like a bread and butter brand. However, all of their items have like this silk material, which is really nice. Very vibrant colors from a lot of the things that I'm selling. It doesn't sell for much. However, it does sell pretty decently. So this sold for $15.75. Next, you'll see Orvis. Orvis does really good for most people. This was a style that I will not pick up again just because it's kind of old looking. I don't know, maybe classic. However, this sold for $23.92. I would suggest the vintage Orvis with the big chunky colorful print over the top kind of styles. Those do really well. You can easily get a $40 to $60 bill on those items, but some of these basic pieces don't go as much. Next was just a cute little kid skirt, great for the holidays. That's why I went ahead and listed that. It's very lightweight, cost me almost nothing from the bins, and this went for $13.64. I do try to pick up crew cuts for kids, Minnie Bowden, Hannah Anderson, the Matilda Janes, and the things like that, because those are pretty good children's items that will go pretty quickly. Next is this embroidered kind of a paisley sweater cardigan. It was actually really pretty up front. This is the second time this is sold, so hopefully it stays at its new home. But this sold for $24.26. Next was this Clan Douglas, kind of like a tunic sweater. It was 100% cashmere, and then it had a kind of a cool, like a mock neck, and I don't know, it was a little bit different than a lot of the sweaters that I pick up that are cashmere. So this was a really good quality one as well. It sold for $49.49. Next was this Coach wallet. I wish it would have went for a little bit more. It actually went for $22, not $28. But again, it was a quick flip. I literally had it for sale for maybe 3 days and it sold really quick. Sometimes the quicker flips are better than holding on to something for a couple more dollars. So this was a really good find. Next was not a good brand, but however, it sold pretty good. This was CJ Banks. It was a 1X, which was what was going for it. Plus, it had kind of a cool print. This was brand new with tags, and it sold for $21.83. So don't pass up on some of these other lower end brands because they do have a good return if they're brand new. Next was this Michael Kors metallic belt. This was really nice quality. It actually looked like it was brand new. This sold for $20.94. I know we're not really in kind of a time where people buy a lot of belts and wear a lot of belts, but there are still people that will pick these up, and they're very lightweight at the bins as well, so they're a good flip. Next was a brand new with tags, Knox Rose jersey knit dress. This was from a Target liquidation. I was kind of surprised it sold for what it did. It's not even summertime, but I guess maybe it's warm somewhere. This sold for $24.26. Next is a blazer from Talbot's. It was a really weird, funky design. I had to look up, not a design, but a size. And I had to look up the size chart to figure out exactly what an XP0 is. And it's like a 0. I don't know. But either way, the item is being returned because it's still a little too big, even with the measurements. Next, this was a Leith, which is sold at Nordstrom, kind of like an open chiffon topper. And this sold for $14. It's extremely lightweight, so it's still a really good return from the bins. And I would highly suggest picking up toppers. People seem to buy a lot of those. This was a brand new with tags, Tahari, kind of like a tuxedo belted jumpsuit. This was from a Macy's liquidation box. This sold for $92.38. I'm getting just about done with all of the liquidation that I recently purchased, so I'll have to kind of think if I'm going to do that again because the cost of goods is a little bit higher with liquidation. Next is an Anthropologie, kind of like a tweed blazer jacket. This sold for $24.29. I wasn't even sure if it was actually going to do well, but it actually did. So I was really surprised about that. Once again, there are anthropology pieces that are pre-owned that still do good on the used market. Next is another excuse me, cashmere cardigan. This was brand new from Nordstrom. This sold for, I don't think $62. I think it sold for right at $50. But still, it was a really good return considering I got this from the bins. And next I got another anthropology piece, which was a metallic pleated skirt. Didn't sell for much. It sold for $17.10, but however, it was a very, very, very light skirt. Had little to no weight at all. So it was a pretty good flip considering it was from the bins as well. And a lot of times we have to kind of consider that, how much you've paid for the item. So even if you make a smaller amount, if you paid almost nothing for it, it's still a really good rate of return. Next is Children's Place. Sometimes I'll still pick this up. As you can see, this did not sell for very much, but hey, it's going to a kid. So sometimes, they kind of get me a little bit on the price because I know it's going for somebody's child, but that's okay. It was a quick flip at $9.90. Here's another Clan Douglas tunic sweater, another unusual color, which I think the colors that are a little different than the basic browns and beiges do really well. This sold for $49.49. This kind of had almost like a cable knit style. It was like a light green. It was actually a really pretty sweater. And this, once again, sold pretty quick from the time that I listed it. So when you look at the sales in general, I did okay for this last week. Most of us still have slow sales right now with the economy and everything else that's going on. So I had a total of 54 sales. I do charge shipping on all of my items. I promote all my items at 2%. So I end up paying about 15% in eBay fees, and I'm also top rated. So all of my items, except for 3, are from the bins. So I have a very low cost of goods. So I had a total amount of $1,312.51. And then of course you have to take that 15% off and any cost of goods. So it was an okay week. Sales are still a little bit low, but hopefully they're going to come up here as we're really starting to get into the fourth quarter. So thank you guys for watching. Please like and comment if there's anything you see that you would suggest that I not buy again, or you think something is a good idea as far as the flipping. I welcome those comments as well. And then I'll see you guys at the What Sold on Poshmark. Bye.